thousands of asylum seekers living in New York City's emergency shelters will have to reapply for housing this week with their 60-day stay expiring.
That's right. Nearly 70,000 migrants remain in city shelters, which is also prompting Mayor Eric Adams to sue more than a dozen charter bus companies for transporting them to New York over a 2-year period. Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine joining us this morning to weigh in on this issue. So, Borough President, good to see you this morning.
Happy New Year, Dan and Hazel.
Happy New Year to you as well. And I want to begin first with the migrant crisis really turning deadly over the weekend on Randall's Island. Have you been hearing or seeing, with the chatter that you're amongst with some of your colleagues, an increase in violence or crime within the migrant community?
I don't think there's been a trend, but the complex on Randall's is problematic. It's 3,000 people. It's isolated, and I'm really heartbroken by the loss of life there over the weekend. I think we could do better. Actually, churches are stepping up to offer space. The Episcopal Church has offered thousands of beds. There's some bureaucratic complications we have to work through. We've got to do better. And also, I think we need to re-examine this 60-day rule. That could mean families are out on the street in the middle of winter, changing schools in the middle of the school year. Really, that's not the right policy.
You talk about things being better. I mean, do you think we need to change the process of intake for the city? I mean, the NYPD officers injured trying to break up a fight at one of the intake centers over the weekend.
Well, look, we have 500 people on average arriving every single day with no coordination from Texas, which continues to send buses, often landing in the middle of the night. It's really outrageous that we have outsourced the national refugee resettlement policy to one xenophobic governor in Texas. And so I do support the mayor in suing the bus companies to try and get some order, a regular schedule of arrivals with advance notice. In the meantime, yes, we have to make sure things are calm and orderly at the Roosevelt, which is where the main point of arrival is.
Just to go back to the crime thing, because you said you don't think there's a trend. The mayor said at his press conference last week with some of the crime stats that he doesn't believe the migrants, or some of them, are coming here for the American dream. It was alluding to the fact that some of them are engaged in illegal behavior. Are you hearing anything like that?
I'm hearing the opposite. I talk to these migrants all the time. Without fail, the first question they ask, how can I work? These are people who've come to New York because they want to get a job, they want to pay their own rent, they want to pay taxes.
So you disagree with the mayor?
I do. I do. I think these arrivals are going to be good for New York City, just like every other wave of arrivals has been. In the short term, they need help. And the federal government has to show up for us because it's getting harder and harder for New York to do this alone. But ultimately, these migrants are going to be good for New York City.
All right, let's switch gears right now. We've been talking about the storm, or the no storm, really. But the city really escaped the brunt of the storm that a lot of folks did get. You're talking about these gray zones, though. Can you explain what that is exactly, and how the city can improve their snow removal?
First, we're going to hit 700 days this week since the last significant accumulation. I hate it. Not only because of the climate change, but I want a little snow in winter in New York. But you can remember the last time there was a heavy snow that there were corners where people go into the street that were not shoveled. There were areas in front of abandoned lots that were not shoveled, sometimes next to bus stops. And yes, we call these the gray zones, where nobody's taking ownership. Is it DOT? Is it sanitation? Is it the private property owner? Is it the MTA? And so we've asked for clarity. So someone owns snow removal on those locations. In Manhattan, they're very heavily used, and people can slip and fall. Let's figure this out before the next big snowfall.
If that ever happens.
I was going to say, dust off those shovels. This weekend on PIX and Politics ahead, NYPD Chief of Patrol John Shellon talking about crime stats overall in the city and the numbers of police officers that are actually on the streets right there. We know there's a freeze on the next 5 NYPD classes, right? But he said that he doesn't think it's going to affect crime with the number of officers. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I hope not. Crime numbers are, on the whole, moving in the right direction. It's just extraordinary. We had an 11%, almost 12% drop in homicides last year. That hasn't gotten enough attention. It's a big deal. There are some categories, including shoplifting, where we've seen an increase, unfortunately. So, yes, we have to do better. I do believe the chief when he says we can keep those numbers moving in the right direction. I hope that's the case. I hear it from Manhattanites all the time. There are still some concerns about public safety, even despite our progress.
All right, before we let you go, there's been a lot of, I don't know about your office, but a lot of folks have been getting sick. A lot of folks in our station. Some people have been getting COVID. A lot of my friends getting COVID. Right now, the city has reinstated a mask mandate at some of the public hospitals. Do you think that's necessary? And could it expand to schools and workplaces? Unfortunately,
we are seeing a winter surge in COVID, in flu, and in RSV. All of them, and it's why so many of your friends are getting sick. Absolutely, it was warranted to reinstore the mask mandate in public hospitals. Probably should do it in private hospitals as well. Don't know about schools yet. The experts I talked to in the health department say that this is what they expect will be a normal annual cycle of a winter surge. Just like we have a flu surge, a flu season, if you will, we're going to have a COVID season. But a reminder, people need to get their vaccination, both for flu and for COVID. Anecdotally, I think we're behind on flu shots this year. We don't actually get data anymore on COVID vaccinations. It's a problem, but we know the numbers are low. So to everyone watching, it's not too late to get your flu shot and your COVID shot for the winter season.
We got ours.
Yes,
Both
right.
Well done.
And also, if you're a person of a certain age, you could get an RSV vaccine.
Yes, for exactly.
All
yes,
right,
indeed.
Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, good to see you as always.
Thank you, guys.